Okay, guys, I want to get right to it. So, you're a novice, you're doing your first track day, you're not sure what you need to bring. That's why I'm here. I made a comprehensive list. I'm going to go over it with you, and then you could decide what from the list you actually need, uh, what you want to omit, whatever's going to work for you. However, here are the basics, and I'm going to go over it with you right now. So, as you can see, this is the list. Now, I put it on a spreadsheet because I'm anal that way. You can put it on a piece of paper, put it on a spreadsheet, print it out whichever way you want, but the focus should be on the list. Now I broke it down this way, added all my items. Now you can see here I have departure for when I'm actually en route to the track, and return for when I'm returning from the track, just to ensure I don't forget anything, because you'd be surprised sometimes what you forget. So first things first, breaker bar. Now, why do you want a breaker bar? Well, the wheel sometimes takes a lot of torque, depending on the bike you have, and trying to use a simple 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch, you might not get the leverage you need, and you want ease of use, so bring a breaker bar. Torque wrench. Now, this should be self-explanatory why you need a torque wrench. Those of you who don't know, this is a torque wrench. Okay, so it has your settings there, your Newton meters and pounds foot, for tightening up your front and rear axles. Now, if you don't have a torque wrench, you don't need to go buy one per se, but make sure that whenever you're going to put your nuts on, your axle nuts, make sure they're, or your axle bolts, make sure they're nice and snug, not overly tight, not too loose. Most bikes are around anywhere from 80 to 96 pound-foot torque. So when you're doing it by hand, good, nice and snug will be more than sufficient. Allen keys. Well, as you can see, most bikes use Allen keys. So you want to bring a set of Allen keys for when you need to take off bodywork or do anything else that requires an Allen key. Socket set. So here's an example of a socket set. Has everything you need in there, wrenches, sockets, everything you're going to require to do any kind of adjustments to your motorcycle that it's outside the norm. Air pump. Now, this is a basic air pump. You can use it for your bicycle tire. You can use it for a motorcycle tire. It works just fine. Or those of you who are a little more fancy, if you have an automated one, or automatic one where you just set it, press the button, and it goes to your pressure, that works too. Now, here's outside of the socket set that I just put down here. This is specifically for my ZX10, just to ensure that I don't forget it. So as you can see, this is a large socket set for your rear axle nut. And then for the front on the ZX10Rs, it actually is a hex, not a nut. So that's 22 mil, 32. So whatever your bike needs, requires to take off your front and rear wheel, in case you need to swap tires, then that's what you're going to put on your list. Next thing, zip ties. I cannot tell you how important it is to have zip ties. Zip ties are your best friend. They'll help you out in a jam if something ever happens. A hex nut comes flying off, and let's just say you need to tighten something. Well, as a temporary solution, you put a zip tie through, whatever the case is, and it works just fine. For reference, as an example, when I changed out my master cylinder to a Ducati unit, Brembo from a Ducati, obviously I was in a jam, so I used zip ties to ensure I was able to get this on. And it's rock solid, not going anywhere, and that's why you want zip ties. Next, let's talk about some of the motorcycle requirements. Very basic, your motorcycle key. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen that happen at the track. Someone gets to the track, and they forgot the most important thing, their motorcycle key, where a guy had to go all the way home, which is about an hour away, return all the way back. He lost out on 2 sessions for his day, all for the simple reason that he forgot his motorcycle key. So put it on your list. Camera. Now, if you want to bring like a GoPro or that sort of thing, that's why I put camera down. Not a necessity, but something you don't want to forget. Phone charger. Those of you who are doing multiple days in a row. I just did a track day where it was 2 days in a row and I was staying up at the track. So I needed my phone charger just so I have my phone readily available. Oh, sorry, I got motorcycle key twice. Extension cord. Now you're gonna need an extension cord because if you have a generator, then you're gonna need an extension cord to to plug in your tire warmers. Okay, so as we go down the list, have an extension cord with multiple heads because you're gonna need you're gonna have 2 tire warmers. Therefore, you need something that's gonna have multiple head extension or multiple pronged for the extension cord. So just be aware of that. Gas can. You're gonna want to bring extra gas. So even if it's in a single day, it's always good to have a little bit of extra gas just in case. Normally what I like to do is when I'm getting ready for the track, I stop at the gas station, I fill up my motorcycle, I fill up my gas can because I'm usually doing 2 days in a row. And that just gets me to the second day with about a quarter tank left. So you put that on your list, okay? Next thing. Now this one's interesting because it's really gonna depend. DB killer. Now what that is an extension that you put in your pipe, basically a silencer, to reduce the amount of noise your motorcycle makes. Okay, so the reason why you want this is a lot of racetracks nowadays have noise limits. So, for example, at my track, we have noise restrictions that were reduced to 98 decibels. 98 decibels is not a hell of a lot. Most V-twins will pass that fairly easily. Most Ducatis pass that fairly good, but the Japanese sport bikes always have an issue with it. And if you fail, what happens is you're not getting on track. So you spent all that money not getting on track. So those of you who have modified motorcycles, modified pipes, bring your baffle. Buy one off Amazon. What you do is you take a measure, okay, of the diameter of the hole. Usually it's anywhere from 47, 48 mil to 51 mil. And then you order that baffle. And it basically it slides in, you tighten it up, and it should stay in. Then you get one of these stickers if you're lucky. This proves that I was able to pass sound restriction at the track. I only have to do it once. So next time I go for this season, I don't have to do it again. So most tracks are usually set up the same way. Another thing you want to bring is steel wool. Now, why you want to bring steel wool? Because sometimes even with the baffle, you could still fail. And in my case, I was shy of failing, but they let me pass out of the kindness of their hearts. Plus I go there all the time, so they know me. But I was at the borderline. So I already said I could just stuff in the steel wool, put the baffle back in to reduce the noise even further, and I probably would have passed no problem, okay? Front and rear stands. As you can see, I have an assortment of stands here. The reason why you want your stands is that when you go to the track and you want to put the tire warmers on, your bike has to be elevated, or you need to swap out tires, or you need to do any type of work where the bike has to be raised, where you're, adjusting a chain, doing whatever. Bring your front and rear stands. Put that on your list. Spare wheels. Now, not a necessity, especially if you're only doing one day, but if you're doing multiple days, it's always nice to have a spare set of rims. As you can see here, it's my spare set of rims that are from last year. These are my slicks from last year that have, I want to say, 3.5 days. I opted not to run them again. They probably would have been okay, but just to be on the safe side, I swapped my rims. So I already have another set. And now I'm good to go. So I'll bring them up next time with an extra set of tires. A lot of places that you go will have tire service. So if you don't change it before you go up, you can always change it at the track, whatever. So it's always good to have a second set of tires. Not a requirement, or second set of rims. Not a requirement, but if you have them, it's just easier. It makes life easier for you. Tire warmers, got that. Ramps. Now, why do you want a ramp? Well, the ramp is to get your bike onto the trailer, onto the back of a pickup truck. So you need ramps. So put that on your list. Well, you need to tie the bike down to either the trailer or the pickup truck. Straps. Now, there's cam buckle straps, there's ratchet straps, there's all these different types of straps. You want one that are at least 500 pound, at the very, very minimum, 500 pound rated, I think is load, and then it goes up from there. But a good quality strap, don't cheap out on this, because your bike is the one that's going to be like paying the price if anything breaks. So straps, at the minimum, you want 2 straps for the front, 2 straps for the rear, and then just have some spares in case one breaks. Straps aren't expensive, you know, 20 bucks, 20 to 40 bucks, depending on what style of strap you want. Let's keep looking at our list. So we said generator. If you have a generator, great. If you don't have a generator, then if your friend's bringing one, then you don't have to bring one. I just put it on the list regardless. Those of you who are, again, I guess if you're novice, like I said, and you're watching this video, I'll make another video getting into the bike, because a lot of it depends on the tires you're going to run. But at the same time, you know, if you're at the track, you want a good quality set of tires. And in most cases, not all, and I'll go over it next time in a different video, you're going to need a generator for your tire warmers. Very few cases where you don't need it because you're the type of tire you're running. And tire pressure gauge. So as you can see here, I have a nice fancy tire pressure gauge. You want to be checking your temps. You want to check your cold temps before you put tire warmers on if you're going to use tire warmers. You want to check your hot temps after you've gone and done your session, got off track. You want to check your temperature to see where you need to be. Now, at this time, I won't give you where you should be because a lot of it is dependent on manufacturer tire. So for example, Dunlop's GPAs were anywhere from, or Dunlop Slicks were anywhere from, 22 hot, I believe, to 24, where the front was even 36 to 38 hot, versus a Pirelli, which is much lower, anywhere from like 24 to 26 hot in the rear and 30 to 35 in the front, thereabouts. Don't quote me on that. Those of you guys who do a lot of experience riding at the track, but that's ballpark figure. So that's an example why you want to bring your tire pressure gauge, because you want to check your pressures throughout the day, all the time, to ensure you're in that sweet spot and gauge how the bike is reacting. Very important. Okay, so next up, let's look at apparel. Now, why do you need apparel? Well, very simple. Make your list. Leathers, well, that's a given. You're going to need your full leathers, either 1-piece or 2-piece suit. Most tracks don't care if it's a 1 or 2-piece, as long as if it's a 2-piece, that the top zips to the bottom. Now, most tech doesn't check this because most of them already do come with a zipper and they just zip together, but just be cognizant of that fact. So you got your leathers. Don't forget your leathers. Again, this could be just as simple as you get into the track and you forgot this, like the most basic thing. Motorcycle boots. You need a pair of motorcycle boots. You're not getting on track with shorty boots or anything like that. They need to be proper, full-length motorcycle boots. Now, here's an example. As you can see, I got 2 sets of motorcycle boots there. Those aren't even my track boots. My track boots are a little fancier. Offer good support, good ankle support, good crash support, and just all general, like, awesome boot. Gloves. You need motorcycle gloves. Again, quarter length gloves or just shorty gloves are not going to cut it. You're going to need gauntlets. So those are ones that go past your wrists. And you want a good set of gloves that offer knuckle support and palm support. Okay, and you want them to fit your hand nice and snug. Now you don't want them over tight, or else your hand will get sore. You're not gonna be able to grab your clutch or brake lever properly. But you want a good, solid, quality glove. Okay, helmet, obviously that's a given. Back protector. Again, a lot of tracks and a lot of institutions where you go race or you're gonna do your first track day require you to have a back protector. Back protectors aren't that expensive. They're not talking about the back protector that's already in a lot of motorcycle jackets or motorcycle suits. This is a separate back protector that you need. Go to Amazon, just type in motorcycle back protector, and you want one that's usually, it's like an Alpine Star, like the straps on. Okay, it's separate from an insert for a motorcycle jacket or suit. Okay, this is something totally separate. It just, you put it on as a separate set of gear. Okay, so next thing, rash guard, compression suit. Now, those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically spandex suit, for the lack of terminology for it. Pants, shirt, long sleeve shirt. And the reason why you want that is because when you're at the track, it gets hot and you start to sweat. And I never knew this when I first started riding, but then when you want to go and start taking off your gear, I remember one of my first track days. This was actually one of my first track days up there, that I didn't have a compression suit. So in between sessions, you want to get comfortable. Usually take off your jacket or undo the top part of the leather, and it's next to impossible. You're sweating so much it just sticks to you, and it's a nightmare to try to like adjust and get off. So by having the compression layer, it makes life a lot easier. It absorbs the sweat. You know, it's all for hygiene. It's a must. You need that. So don't forget your compression suit, pants, shirt, full length. Now, when you're chilling out during sessions or even at lunchtime, you want to be comfortable. And take it from me, you want to be comfortable before your next session or your afternoon session after lunch. Bring sandals. Take off your boots, put your sandals on, sit down, relax, and enjoy. Now, along with that, you want to bring sunglasses, because it's usually a sunny day. Even if you're under a canopy, you still want to have, you know, your sunglasses. You're going to be moving and walking around, just to help your eyes. And again, it's all about comfort, especially if you're doing multiple track days in a row. Socks. Crazy enough, you think socks. Well, if you're doing more than one day, trust me, you're going to get sweaty, drenched. Bring an extra pair of socks. Underwear, well, same with the socks. You know, if you're doing multiple days, most tracks have a place you could shower, change. So bring underwear, basically a change of clothes is what it comes down to, but be comfortable. T-shirt, sweatpants, that sort of thing. Again, at the end of the day, you want to be able to just to get into some like nice normal clothes, get well rested for the following day if you're doing multiple days at the track, or even when you have to drive home, you want to be comfortable. So after it's all done, you put on your shorts, put on a nice loose t-shirt, and you're done. So that's basically it in a nutshell for what you should have on your list. Now, again, I'm going to make a separate video to discuss what you need to do to your motorcycle to prep it, and things that you're going to want to hear, you want to learn for doing your first track day. And these are things you're going to carry with you when you become more experienced. So until then, hopefully you found this informative. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try to answer as best as I can. Keep it real.